Narration spéculative in French translates for me into the English speculative fabulation. And the difference matters because of the connotation of the word narrative in English is not as open as narration is in French. And speculative narrative, speculative narrative in English has already been occupied by a particular branch of literary critical theory, which I am not very drawn to. There are some thinkers and writers there that I think are, it's not like I'm against it in some way, but it's not what I mean. Because what I mean by speculative fabulation, or narration spéculative in French, but not in English, okay, is much more closely tied to the everyday storytelling practices of storytellers, who aren't all writers, who aren't all professionals, who aren't all, maybe the ways mothers and fathers tell stories to their children, or the way someone tells the story of their life to a reporter, or the way an Emily Carr writes writes her stories, or the way Ursula Le Guin does her work. I think of speculative fabulation as this this fabulating, this making, this fabulation, the fable as a place. One of my former graduate students, Martha Kenny, talked about wild facts, facts that won't hold still. Wild facts inhabit fables, and the fable is a really important form. And fabulation is the making of fables, and speculative fabulation, not narrative as it's been domesticated in literary theory, but the fabulation, the worlding, which is often full of animals and full of critters who maybe don't really exist, I don't know, full of creatures of the imagination, full of children and animals and creatures of the imagination and impossible worlds, but also full of adults, full of the serious narrative, speculative fabulation, science fiction, speculative feminism, fantasy, speculative fantasy of an Ursula Le Guin. So for me, SF is absolutely a critical germ, seed, point of eruption of my own work I'm a scholar. I've made my living as a scholar. I live in this house because I was paid as a scholar. I would be foolish, stupid to disown it. That is my profession. And I practice my profession as a fabulator. And by that, I do not mean I don't tell the truth, because I care, among other things, I care about what's a fact and what isn't, how it holds together or does not. I believe that teaching intelligent design in a biology class in high school is a kind of child abuse. I think evolutionary theory is I will enforce it with the law if necessary, by which I mean I will take part in curriculum struggles with the publishers or with the school districts. So I will fight for something that I think is so. Some ways of life and not others. And I don't think that is instead of being a fabulator. I think that this is about taking fabulation, speculative fabulation, seriously. Most of my biologist friends don't, really get very upset with that language. They really want you to be, for science is the truth and this other stuff isn't, and you're talking about fabulation like that is really, wrong-headed, really crazy, and I say, no, we need to talk about speculative fabulation and science fact in the same SF figure. So that's how I use it.